It has been 20 years now that Hyundai has been selling the Tucson with over 7 million units sold. Now in its fourth generation, Hyundai has freshened up the look for 2025. Some new exterior bits like the front end and the tail end, but lots of changes in the interior. We're going to take a look at those. I'm George Torline with Randy Stern, and this is Victory in Reseda.
This is Hyundai's best-selling vehicle right now. The Tucson is a right-size SUV that competes well in its size class. It is also one of the few that offers both a hybrid and a plug-in hybrid driveline on top of an internal combustion engine. You are seeing the hybrid model in this video. For 2025, the only noticeable change on the exterior is the revised front clip. There are subtle hints of grille and driving lamp changes, but nothing completely dramatic. The lower part of the clip is not so subtle with this satin-finished trim around the lower grille. The silhouette is contemporary, as are the shapes along the lower part of the body. They even left the rear end with its double vertical tail lamps alone. This hybrid limited tester came with a set of 5-spoke 19-inch alloy wheels. They add more aerodynamic functionality while giving it a sportier look. The biggest change in the 2025 Tucson is the dashboard and cockpit. The flat panel houses two 12.3-inch screens similar to the ones found on the most recent Hyundai models. On the Hybrid Limited, the instrument cluster is fully digital and has plenty of customization. When you signal your turn, the dials turn into blind spot rear view monitors. The second screen is for the infotainment system. The touch capacitive screen is now a hub for wireless smartphone integration. The climate controls are now located below the right screen, just above the center console. It is a mix of tactile and digital controls and prompts. The shifter is controlled at a rigid stalk on the right side of the steering column. This opens up a lot of space on the center console for stowage, cup holders, and the wireless device charger. We should also mention that there is a slither of stowage between the armrest and the console stowage itself. The Tucson Hybrid Limited is upholstered with perforated leather seats. The front seats offered some support and comfort. The rear seats offer excellent leg and headroom along with solid comfort. For cargo space, there is up to 41.2 cubic feet of space with the rear seats up. Fold those seats down, and the cargo hold expands up to 80 cubic feet. Hybrid models are powered by a combination of a 1.6-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder engine, an electric motor, and a battery pack. Combined, it puts down 231 horsepower and 276 pound-feet of torque. This driveline also adds a 6-speed automatic transmission and an all-wheel drive system. There's a lot more to talk about the 2025 Tucson Hybrid. Let's join George as he takes it on the road.
So we're driving the 2025 Hyundai Tucson. So with the updates that they made, certainly the front and rear give it a little bit of a sharper look. You do have the updated DRL lighting signature up front, and you do have the taillights in the back, which are kind of very similar to what you've had previously. But it's in the inside where you see the biggest changes, where you see the long instrument cluster and infotainment screen all in a single pane of glass. They're in two sections, 12.3 inches each, which aligns with the latest design philosophy of Hyundai. Also with that, you have the drive selector stalk now in the lower part of the steering wheel, in which you turn to select the drive modes for park, reverse, and drive. That frees up the center console to make room for a charging pad, your cup holders, and some controls, and it looks really kind of sharp. They cleaned up the whole infotainment section and the HVAC controls available for your touch, as well as physical buttons for key things like pressing the home button or the map or selecting media. A lot of the key features that you would find on the infotainment screen now have physical buttons, so you're starting to see that trend. With the infotainment screen, you do have wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. If you're using the Maps app, it will feed the direction information to the heads-up display, telling you your turn-by-turn directions. If you are using Google Maps, it doesn't feed that information through, just the Apple Maps as well as the Maps app in Android Auto. Of course, you do have onboard navigation in certain trims that you can use as well. So for 2025, you do have choices of powertrains. So you do have the internal combustion engine version, and then you have hybrid that we have here, or you have the plug-in hybrid. So as far as driving impressions go, it's a very nice, comfortable machine. It has very comfortable seats, although I do wish that the seat bottoms were a little bit longer for a little bit more support. They're heated and ventilated and have seat adjustment memory. So you do have different drive modes that you can put the Tucson in. So you got Eco, which is kind of its default mode, Sport, as well as My Drive and Snow. So we'll put in Sport and we'll give it a flog here. Okay. No problems with traction with the HTRAC all-wheel drive system. It kept its composure and it got up and went. Even though you have a 1.6 liter turbo, the electric motors provide that extra assist to give you that extra power. So in the modes, you have My Drive, and you can pick what you want that mode to be. Now, new for 2025, you do have an option of configuring that to be called Baby Mode. So Baby Mode is designed to reduce the sharpness of the throttle inputs and to smoothen out the drive experience and to try to keep the cabin as quiet as possible, using the electric motors a bit more to keep a more calm and serene driving experience. And I think your pets might also appreciate that as well. But they call that the Baby Mode. In the limited trim, you do have double glazed glass on the side windows, which cuts down on noise intrusion into the cabin, makes it a quieter experience. So with the facelift, you'll notice that on the nose of the Tucson for 2025, the lighting signature has changed slightly so that it comes down to a little bit more of a block rather than a point. So that's something that you'll notice that's different right away. That's also used in part as a turn signal up front. In back, you do have an LED light that goes across the width of the rear hatch. You do have the two downward spokes for the brake lights and tail lights, but the turn signals, they put them way down at the bottom corners, separate from the rear brake indicators. Now, you've got two lights on each side. One is on the hatch and one is on the body of the rear of the vehicle. Now, I understand that, of course, for when you have the hatch open, you need to have certain lighting for, like when you have your hazard lights on, that people can see that, or the brake lights. But why put the turn signals way at the bottom corners? That just makes it difficult for the people behind you. I really wish Hyundai would bring them up higher, up into the taillight assembly, and try to make that work. That's my only real big gripe with this, is just the taillights. Now the handling isn't too bad, so maneuverability, it's about 38 feet in diameter for its turning radius, which isn't too bad. The size of this, I think, is very attractive for many people, where it's kind of in that sweet spot in its overall length, about 182 inches, that it gives you plenty of space for passengers, for 5 passengers really. The rear seat legroom is excellent, headroom is good, and you still have plenty of cargo space behind there. The seats in the rear do recline a bit, so you can get comfortable. So in summary, the 2025 Hyundai Tucson, the updates that Hyundai made to this vehicle, bring it up to the current design language standards that can be found in other Hyundai vehicles. Also, you do have more physical buttons and controls that you can use rather than completely haptic touch. There is still some haptic touch, but a lot of the key controls are physical buttons, which we appreciate. The hybrid powertrain works very well. The engine starts and stops pretty seamlessly. You don't hear it turning on and off in the background, and it gives you a very smooth hybrid driving experience. Certainly a vehicle to have on your shopping list to look at as you cross-shop these vehicles. So when we work with vehicles at Victor and Reseda, we have them for about a week. And being based in Minnesota, we do get some cold weather. For the last week or so, we've had this 2025 Hyundai Tucson Hybrid. And being that it's about minus 20, and this guy's been sitting out on the driveway for about 30 hours in minus 5 to minus 20 Fahrenheit temperatures, I'm curious to know, what will it do when you try to start it in this cold weather? So let's take a look and see what we got here. So we'll take a look at the temperature here, and it's showing at about minus 20 Fahrenheit, so minus 30 Celsius, thereabouts. All right, let's see what we get. Well, the seats do feel a little hard. I'm not going to lie about that. It does feel a little bit firm because it's cold. So curious to know, will she fire up, and will the hybrid system work as normal between the battery and the internal combustion motor? So let's fire that up. She fired right up. No problem. So in the cold of minus 20 Fahrenheit and being out in this cold weather for a day hasn't really phased it at all. So it just fired right up, and yeah, no problems in cold weather as far as starting up. In our thermal imaging tests, we find the 2025 Hyundai Tucson's front seats offer good heating element coverage down the center of the backs and bottoms, yet not extending into the side bolsters. The outward rear seats provide mostly even heating element coverage, though we would have liked to have seen stronger heating performance. The heated steering wheel also provided mostly even heating around its diameter and circumference. Outside, the side mirrors are heated, and the rear window defrosting heating elements provided good heating element coverage.
There is a total of 11 2025 Hyundai Tucsons to choose from, 4 of which are hybrids, along with 2 plug-in hybrid models. The entire lineup starts from $28,605, whereas hybrid models start from $33,395. Our hybrid limited all-wheel drive tester came in with a sticker price of $42,550.
If you found this video helpful, consider selecting the like button, and watch all of our great content. Select the subscribe button and notification bell to be alerted when we post new videos. I'm George Torline. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.